In our last two segments, speaking with Mr. Vinod Rai, the 11th Controller and Auditor General of India, we realized the increasing burden on companies with new regulations as well as the Companies Act. In the last part of the series, we're going to cover bribery and corruption, which is an important topic and a compliance issue in India. We will talk a little bit about how the government is making a big effort towards improving the environment in India by reducing the complexity around laws and the Make in India program.
You know, in India there's a feeling that you can get around different regulatory issues by getting a middleman. You know, so under the Prevention of Corruption Act, the most common way most corporates think is that get a middleman, he can do whatever he wants, we have a Chinese wall and no one in the world can touch us. And a lot of people outside India think we are a country of middlemen. So your thoughts on that?
It's most unfortunate that that has happened to us, and I think they will now develop a more sophisticated expression. Instead of the middleman, he becomes a consultant. And well, the consultant can get around everywhere because the consultant can worm his way into any corridor or any office of power. But I think that is a very unhealthy culture. And I think to a very large extent, government is putting pay to it also. Because some recent trends which have been seen where this kind of a culture, this kind of a concept has been blown up and has blown into the face of those people who were operating it. I think there is a trend in government that it is not helping anybody, neither the perpetrators on the outside, those people inside, because long term somebody gets found out. And I think that is inducing a sense of, or rather feeling among people involved within government that look, going forward, this is not the right route to be taken. And I'm very confident, I'm very hopeful, I'm very upbeat and bullish about the fact that, you know, obviously old habits die hard, but in 3 to 4 years you'll find that this kind of a culture is, you know, you'll see the demise of this kind of a culture.
Just to follow up on that, sir, gifts. You know, gifts in our world in the private sector is the biggest issue. You know, a gift could be a bottle of wine worth 50,000 rupees, or it could be a sula of 600 rupees. You know, it varies significantly. And can gifts be, for instance, you know, everybody in India makes an excuse about Diwali and says, in Diwali we can give gifts to all government officials. What are your views, having worked in the government sector for long? Is this a permissible thing? And how do we work our way around and stop gifts?
You know, I get the feeling, though I don't know, I've been out of government for about 2 years now, I get the feeling that this culture is being looked at with a certain degree of askance. People are not very favorable towards it. And I think a very healthy culture is developing wherein, fine, I mean, if you give me a box of sweets or if you give me a box of dry fruits, I would have no hesitation in accepting them. Because I must have the confidence to say that with those box of sweets or that box of dry fruits, there's no way in which you will be able to prevail upon me in whatever duties that I've been, you know, enjoined to do. So I think time is coming when the gift giver and the gift receiver both are realizing that yes, this much and no further. So in terms of value, I think systems are coming where it is becoming only a token more than anything else, you know.
Another question, just more tactical on the corporate side. You know, there's a lot of things being spoken about the Make in India program, but licenses becoming faster, simpler, more transparent. The biggest issue I hear from corporate clients who I work with around the bribery and corruption is the biggest exposure is actually not the big bribes. It's the small day-to-day hurdles, you know, getting a license here, getting a license there, the time it takes, the harassment they have. If a client is like kind of, you go through an extortion where your factory shuts down and you have to pay, what are your views on that? I mean,
I'm in total agreement with you because you see, it's those small little harassments at the lower level which actually, you know, demoralize people. But I must say, why did this start? In recent past, last 5 to 7, 10 years, we saw in India a culture of big ticket corruption, where the corruption was top down. Now what happens if there's going to be big ticket corruption on the top? What is the effect that it has on the man much below, 5 or 6 levels below? He says, okay, fair enough. If somebody on the top is making 100 rupees and I make a rupee, how does it matter in the system? So that's where it permeates. And that's why the belief was that, well, okay, it's all right. So whether it was the giver or the receiver at the lowest level, they all felt that it was a part of the game. It had been accepted as ongoing activity to which nobody looked at, nobody looked at very askance in that kind of way. But I think the issue has been handled at the top. And at the least, the statements are being made that no, going forward, no more. And I will feel very happy if 2, 3, 4, 5 of these high-level people do get within the ambit of the law, because that will send a very strong message downward. And I think it's the message at the lower level that which needs to be received. And I think the culture that we saw in Delhi, not talking about it politically, but what the Aam Aadmi Party introduced, I think is got the general population thinking again that that is a wrong thing to be doing.
So thank you so much, sir, and really appreciate.
It's a pleasure. Thank you very much for having me over this morning.
Mr. Vinod Rai was very insightful, and I hope that this is going to be a good benchmark for corporates as they improve themselves and move ahead in this corporate compliance environment. I would like to just add that I think it's a great opportunity for corporate India to use compliance as a differentiator. It is a way by which we can get foreign investors to be more confident in India, improve on the Transparency International, and really show the world that we are best of class. And I think compliance can actually become a differentiator and a competitive edge, which hopefully corporates will start moving towards.